looks at practice this week. Now, you're referring to, of course, the incident this past summer, this July, at his in-laws' house when there were 5 misdemeanor charges brought against Richard Sherman. The league is still looking into that, but it doesn't seem right now like it's going to stand in the way of him playing while it looks into that situation. Richard Sherman addressed that, said that he's been treated for that. He's made improvements from that. We'll see what the league decides to do, if anything, from that. But in the interim, the Buccaneers have gone ahead and signed Richard Sherman to a 1-year contract, knowing that they need help in the secondary, knowing the type of competitor that he is. And we all know the history of Richard Sherman and Tom Brady. Once, when Seattle beat the Patriots, Richard Sherman went up to Tom Brady when he was just getting started in this league, making a name for himself, and he said, "You mad, bro?" And Tom Brady's not mad anymore right now. He's happy to have Richard Sherman on the same team.
Yeah, it's a little different when they actually get to be teammates. More Adam Schefter coming later on in this show. And a reminder of just what the Bucs are getting in Richard Sherman. His 36 interceptions, the most by any player since he entered the league in 2011. Now, listen, Marcus, the thing about it is you're saying solid because we know the greatness of Sherman maybe in the earlier part of his career. Maybe it's a little bit less certain at this point, but what do you think the Bucs are getting in him?
They're getting an experienced player that understands how to play the game. And sometimes that can compensate for what you lack physically, right? Richard Sherman is not going to be asked to line up and play man-to-man every play in this defense. That's just not what you can ask him to do. But what he can do for this secondary is help those other guys in their maturation process. And obviously this is a move because they're limited. They're thin on the back end as well. But he understands how to play football. I learned that from guys like this sitting next to me, from Keyshawn and Greg Ellis and a lot of my vets when I came into Dallas. Yeah, some of the athleticism may have fleeted. Some of the things that they were able to do may have fleeted, but they understood the game. And they were able to teach a lot of us about positioning, winning the play before the snap actually happens. And I think that's what Richard Sherman is going to bring to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Another coach is what you're getting. You get another brain. I mean, I don't even want to go into his academics at Stanford. Let's leave that alone. Finishing in the top.
USC guys. Whoa.
You know, brain-wise, they're getting a leader in the locker room. And like Marcus said, we really don't know what we're getting on the field. This signing is interesting because Richard Sherman's skill set does not fit the defensive scheme, traditionally what we think in Todd Bowles. Yep. But when you're a good defensive coordinator, you know what to do with him, where to put him at, how to tell him to do certain things. And he has an eye for the football. Turnovers is key for him. He's always around the football. Great things happen to him. You know, you remember what Coach Parcells always said, a guy like that, bad things happen to. But in Richard Sherman's case,
good things.
Always something good has happened. Fumbles, causing fumbles, interceptions, whatever the case may be.
This team misses Sean Murphy-Bunting big time.
Yeah.
Their nickel who
100%.
went out week 1. You know, I've watched the secondary. Whitehead's out, then Murphy-Bunting's out, then Carlton Davis is out for a second, and then Jamel Dean's out for a second. You know, it's like, if I'm speaking from an offensive perspective, if you told me I was playing against a defense and they lost their nickel or they lost their outside corner, I'd feel way better if they lost their nickel because he does so much. I want to move my receivers around, and that nickel just controls so much. It's a longer throw to the perimeter, obviously, than work in the middle of the field. And so I hope that Sherm kind of brings some veteran presence and solidity to that secondary, but they got to get healthy. And everyone keeps talking about the rush, that it's the same pressure as it was, just not sacks last year. Last year, the rush was tied to the coverage. And right now, they might be getting pressure, but dudes are open.
Yeah.
So if Sherm can just bring a little bit of a more sticky coverage mindset, the rush can get home a little bit. And that's why I think the move, in my opinion, think the rush is coming. Because there's no way if you think the rush isn't getting there, you're signing Sherm.
No way.
It's not locked down. You know, so I think that the staff and organization thinks the rush is getting there.
The back end of the defense so often affects the front part of it as well in big ways. All right, let's get to a little bit more on this game because this one's going to be fascinating on both sides. As the Bucs and Brady return to Foxborough this Sunday, it's Brady's 303rd start, bringing a career first, playing in a New England as a visiting quarterback. It's never happened for him. He's looking to join Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, and Drew Brees as the only starting quarterbacks to defeat all 32 current franchises. So let's bring in our Patriots reporter, Mike Reese from Foxborough. Mike, what is Bill Belichick saying about facing Tom Brady, his old quarterback, on Sunday?
Laura, I want to take you inside the Patriots media room this morning. That door swings open at 11:45, and there was a little bit of uncertainty as to what this is going to be like. And Bill gets up to the podium, flashes that huge smile, and says, what's going on? Got any big stories? I can think of a few big ones, and one of the big ones is how are the Patriots going to keep up with Tom Brady? Here's Belichick on Brady.
Yeah, I mean, Tom's had an unbelievable career. I mean, there's not enough superlatives and adjectives to compliment him on everything that he's achieved and continues to achieve. So, yeah, it's unbelievably impressive. Yeah, no, nothing Tom does surprises me. He's a great player. Works hard, takes care of himself. I mean, he's talked about playing till 50. I mean, if anybody can do it, he probably can. It's just tough. It's as tough as any quarterback there is or ever has been. I mean, enough said.
I asked around the team if there are any plans to honor Brady on Sunday night, and what came back to me, Laura, is that they want to keep it a little bit of a surprise. They want the fans that are going to pack this stadium to maybe have a little bit of an unexpected surprise as to what's to come. But basically what came back to me was that anything that you would expect a legendary player returning to where he played for a long time and accomplished great things, that's probably what you can expect on Sunday night.
Yeah, so many people there certainly still love him, Mike. You should have heard everybody in here laughing as Bill Belichick's talking about Brady, reflecting on him. Just great from the press conference earlier today. Enjoy it, Mike. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Laura.
Let's get to the other major stories. Some reporting coming out today from ESPN senior reporter Seth Wickersham's upcoming book titled It's Better to Be Feared, the New England Patriots dynasty and the pursuit of greatness. Wickersham writes, quote, Brady was tired of taking team-friendly deals with no input into how the money saved was spent and still wanting a long-term contractual commitment. Belichick told associates that every organizational decision now was in support of Brady, geared toward pleasing him and making him successful, and that Robert Kraft, meddled with the team, sometimes with opinions, sometimes with restrictive budgets. Wickersham also reported that when Brady made the decision to leave New England for Tampa, he wanted to say goodbye to Belichick in person. Belichick said he was not available and instead requested to say goodbye over the phone. Belichick was asked about the report today, and here's what Bill had to say about all of it.
Yeah, no, that's not true. And I, heard a few things about, this book, and sounds like it's a lot of, second, third, and fourth hand comments. So, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to focus on this game and try to prepare for the Bucs.
Okay, Key, what do you make of this situation?
Well, first of all, I like the consistency with Bill Belichick. Treat everybody the same. Now I'm going to go backwards again, Laura. I don't like the fact that he puts Tom Brady in that box, right? If that's the case, if that is the case, clearly I need a little more context in terms of everything, because Bill's saying one thing, the book says another. And you would think, Dan, after 20 years of dating, we together, man, and I see you walking down the street and I don't speak to you. It's just that doesn't, people don't do that.
Yeah.
It's not
So
normal.
it's kind of like it's not normal, but in every single organization and every single relationship, there's always issues. And I'm sure Tom wanted to be treated a certain way, and he should have been treated a certain way. If Tom want to fly home private without the team, not a problem. If Tom want to miss practice, not a problem, because for 20 years, 6 championships, and 9 appearances in the Super Bowl, you do what the hell you want to do. You do what you want to do.
For real.
Real talk.
And listen, man, this morning before I heard Belichick respond to this, I was like, that is the ultimate disrespect for him not to meet face to face and end it on those terms. But the fact that Bill is saying that that's not true, either I'm eating my word, somebody lying. That's
right.
One thing. Somebody lying. Somebody lying.
Maybe okay, so I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a lie. Maybe it's Bill's overseas in Europe, and he doesn't want to come back, and he says we could talk on the phone. Maybe it's
there
that.
Could be some
Something.
sort of truth in the middle there.
Yeah, variance to it.
Maybe.
Listen, okay.
Guys, it's funny because Bill Belichick is like looking over our shoulders back there. I just can't deny that he's like here in the conversation.
Either way, for all of this information to come out, we know something was wrong. We know there was some uneasiness about the departure between him and Bill Belichick.
All right, they're the greatest ever, right?
Yeah.
Greatness isn't comfortable, man. Like, I'm not shocked or surprised that there's reports coming out that there were some bumps along the road of 20 years. Yes. It's the greatest 2-decade run in the history.
Yeah, but we talking about the end.
But we're talking about this is all about the whole process, or even the end, Marcus. I'm not surprised.
Middle to the end.
I'm not surprised that one of the most egotistical in a good way and kind of intense and maniacal coaches ever maybe didn't see things the same exact way as one of the intense and maniacal players ever. You know, like, I'm not surprised that it makes me honestly, it makes me admire what they accomplished more, because they were able to take all those differences or seeing things maybe a little differently and accomplish the goal.
Man, I ain't saying you got to be on a honeymoon and love each other, but based on what I comprised from what was being explained is that the man wouldn't take a meeting with the quarterback that was on his way out.
That's a different conversation.
That's what I'm talking about.
That is
like,
the conversation.
But I would be surprised. I would be surprised if at the end Bill Belichick said, I don't want to meet with him. I'll only do it over the phone forever.
And I got to take his word for it, because that's what he said.
Okay, well, here's what we'll see on Sunday, what those two are like at midfield, etc., and who wins the game. We got a whole lot more coming your way on NFL Live. Hey, how about this? Lamar's weapons have been officially activated. What does this mean for Lamar Jackson? Will this change the offensive approach? Keyshawn is saying Lamar doesn't need the weapons. You'll find out why next. I know, Keith's got a good one there. What's coming up? The first month of their NFL careers in the books. Which rookie quarterback has shined? Which intense and maniacal players ever? You know, like, I'm not surprised that it makes me honestly, it makes me admire what they accomplished more, because they were able to take all those differences or seeing things maybe a little differently and accomplish the goal.
Man, I ain't saying you got to be on a honeymoon and love each other, but based on what I comprised from what was being explained is that the man wouldn't take a meeting with the quarterback that was on his way out.
That's a different conversation.
That's what I'm talking about.
That is
like,
the conversation.
But I would be surprised. I would be surprised if at the end Bill Belichick said, I don't want to meet with him. I'll only do it over the phone forever.
And I got to take his word for it, because that's what he said.
Okay, well, here's what we'll see on Sunday, what those two are like at midfield, etc., and who wins the game. We got a whole lot more coming your way on NFL Live. Hey, how about this? Lamar's weapons have been officially activated. What does this mean for Lamar Jackson? Will this change the offensive approach? Keyshawn is saying Lamar doesn't need the weapons. You'll find out why next. I know, Keith's got a good one there. What's coming up? The first month of their NFL careers in the books. Which rookie quarterback has shined? Which
Activated off IR, so the Ravens getting back a couple of weapons as they prepare to face the Denver Broncos on Sunday.
More from Adam coming a little later, including his reaction to the Broncos situation right now. You don't want to miss that. Let's read and react to some of the sound around the NFL today. We start with Lamar Jackson weighing in on his new target, Rashad Bateman, returning.
Great route runner, strong hands. He has speed too, sneaky speed. That's it right now. But I feel he's going to be ready. He's going to be hungry and ready though when his time comes.
Marcus, how important is this addition of Bateman in Baltimore?
Yeah, the reason why I'm excited because it takes pressure off Lamar Jackson. Obviously, we know him to be Superman, and he has to carry this team. But to just relieve a little pressure, a little stress outside of Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown, you get two wide receivers back. They drafted Bateman in the first round, expect him to be really, really good. I'm looking forward to seeing the young kid play and see if he can be an added weapon so Lamar Jackson doesn't have to be Superman every single Sunday.
Hey, you don't care about that?
I do care about it, but in the end, I think based on what Lamar's been able to do, it's his skill set, okay? Even if they get them back, they're not getting ready to start throwing the ball to them 20 times a game, Laura. So the emphasis on getting them, yeah, it helps, but it's not like he desperately needs them.
We all keep saying, though, Lamar needs weapons. You don't think so?
Man, the dude wanted a 2-1, and he taking them down to the wire. So
I don't want to
I understand Hollywood Brown dropped 3 touchdowns. I get it. I understand that.
Eventually you
but
stop
they're
throwing
not
to the
getting
guy.
ready. They're not getting ready to change what they do.
That's fine. That's fine. But the team is decimated with injuries. The only person, if I'm Lamar, the only person I feel good throwing the ball to right now is Mark Andrews. He's the only guy that I trust to go
And
make
that's
plays.
what we're going to probably keep throwing the ball to, even with them back.
But Keith, for them to actually make noise in December, they need somebody to step up on the outside.
They got to help.
Yes.
All right,
at
guys,
that point in time, not today.
Hey, but tomorrow we're going to talk more about that game. Plenty of talk also about the level of concern for the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes this week. And no doubt he struggled uncharacteristically, right? 2 interceptions last week against the Chargers. And it wasn't a game that we expect to see out of Patrick Mahomes. That mistake, especially one that was notable. He spoke earlier today about some of his struggles this season.
put our back against the wall. So how are we going to respond? I think this is where you'll get the best out of everybody. You'll get the best out of every person in this locker room because you know that it's time to go now. Every game matters if you want to do what we want to do, and I'm excited to see how these guys respond, and myself included. If you have that championship swagger, you don't let a loss in September affect what your mindset is, and that's getting better every single day so that you can put yourself in the best chance to make a run at the end of the season.
Still plenty of faith in the Homes, right, Dan?
Of course. It is interesting to hear him say, don't allow a loss in September to affect your mindset. Because that's what I'm interested to kind of watch is this is really the first time that Patrick Mahomes has hurt his football team for a stretch over 2 games with the decision-making, the interceptions. I want to see, can he still be ultra-aggressive and creative without hurting the football team, his mindset?
Oh, Key's over there mouthing to me. He's not good anymore. Come on, Key, stop
Give me that $500 million back.
Stop it. OBJ is back for the Browns. The connection looks solid with Baker Mayfield. Remember, Jarvis Landry isn't healthy, so he wasn't out there. But here's Baker Mayfield on having OBJ back.
I think, just those game reps, I think he knows exactly how he has to be, prepared throughout the week. But that's something that's only going to come with those game reps. And so I think he's going to push himself during practice this week as well and, get ready to go as best he can.
What do you see from OBJ, Key?
I saw a guy that is getting himself in sync with what they're doing offensively. If you look last year, he didn't really have an opportunity to get into Kevin Stefanski's system. They started steamrolling people second half of the season. OBJ was on the sideline due to the ACL, but he's comfortable. And going sideline to sideline, being able to drop his hips, get in and out of the break, showed me he's ready to go. And not having Landry on the field, certainly they had to lean on him at times in the passing game, which is a major plus. Down the stretch, I think they're going to be dangerous in the passing game when they get Landry back.
Okay, I love it. All right, plenty more to come on NFL Live. Hey, this is what's coming up. Load up your phone here. The Broncos have been impressive. And speaking of smooth, Teddy Bridgewater has been incredibly smooth. Some numbers that may surprise you if you didn't think he was capable of it. But we love Teddy Bridgewater here.
Yeah, but you know what ain't smooth is him saying that Patrick Mahomes stinks.
The Ravens.
Do you really think that I think Patrick Mahomes stinks?
Uh-oh, watch out, Dan.
Oh, Bob Ross likes to paint. I think it might be a draw. Second and goal. Here's Ezekiel Elliott. These quarterbacks aren't very smart with their audibles.
Ross, paint, draw. Dan, awesome by Brian Greasy right there. You got
That was dope. I mean, it got 10 yards. So, do I have a... No, we were always code worded, man.
Oh, well, give us a code word.
No, I can't play anymore.
I can't give.
Dan, are you starting on Sunday?
Like, never know. Team might call.
Oh God, that team really in trouble.
Shut up,
Matt Nagy might.
That team.
I don't think so.
Damn, that team.
Yeah.
That team gonna be in trouble.
Oh no!
I'm checking out. I quit.
You know what? We would do Alcatraz.
What does that mean on an island?
Jailbreak screen.
Got it. All right. Anyway, let's get to Mac Jones. We'll see what audibles
Put the screen down. Put the screen down.
He threw 3 interceptions, Mac Jones did against the Saints in a loss at home Sunday. According to Next Gen Stats, the majority of Mac Jones' throws and game have happened 9 yards or shorter. It's easy to be a rookie quarterback, right? Some of these youngins are being baptized a little bit right now. So let's get to some quick reads with some rookie quarterbacks who played out their September games to this point. We'll check in on a few guys, and we start with Mac Jones. Key, how has he looked to you a month into his career?
You mentioned it, Laura. 9 yards, a throw attempt. The longest is traveling. That's what I expected from Mac Jones. It's protect our quarterback, allow him to try to make a throw here and there, run the ball, play defense. Let's get out of there and win. This is young Tom Brady, except the defense is not as good as when Tom Brady played with Willie McGinnis and company.
Marcus, how about Justin Fields if Dan's not replacing him at quarterback?
America, I don't know what the hell to tell y'all about Justin Fields, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try something, okay? It was a bad day, a bad display of football. Justin Fields had his part, obviously, in it because he was on the field, players making plays. But I don't think this kid had a shot to have success with the plan that was put forth for him to perform in this game. I don't know if we are going to see Justin Fields again for the rest of the season, but if we do, I hope it's something different than what we saw against the Browns.
Dan, still no wins for Zach Wilson. Are you concerned?
I'm not concerned necessarily, but he needs to understand that defenses are like kids. They're always watching, right? You got a flat route, a go route. The green route is the guy out route that he wants. Now, the safety's just going to watch Zach Wilson. The problem is Zach just stares at him the whole time. Corey Davis, that safety with vision on Zach is like, great, you're throwing that out right. He's breaking on the ball before Corey Davis That slot receiver is easy interception. Watch it from the back angle. Zach never holds his eyes at all. He just stares that whole way the whole time. He's got to learn that his eyes tell the defense where you're going with the football, and if you just stare the whole way, defenses are going to break on the ball consistently.
Let's stay with you, Dan. How about number 1 overall pick Trevor Lawrence so far?
I like that he's starting to play a little faster at the top of his job. Jet sweep, you got play action fake. That back, the nickel back is his in protection. Once that nickel triggers, you got to understand that's a tough block. Put your foot in the ground real quickly. You see that? Like, you got to get your 2.2 seconds. Nothing's downfield. Kick it out to Chenault, but you got to get it out in about 2.5 seconds, 2.8 seconds. So I like the fact that he realizes pressure's coming. My back's got responsibility. Let me not try to push it downfield. Play fast at the top of my drop.
You told us the other day, Trevor Lawrence good for about one really great throw in the games. New on NFL Live here with Adam Schefter. You got some news out of New England. What is it, Adam?
Well, Laura, after further medical examinations this week, it turns out that Patriots running back James White suffered what is expected to be a season-ending hip injury, according to Phil Yates and myself. And that's a blow to the Patriots backfield. Somebody who Mac Jones could rely on passing situations when they were trying to come from behind. And in a week in which they're getting ready to host Tom Brady and Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, and all the Bucs coming back to Foxborough, the Patriots are not going to have James White, and they're not going to have him for the remainder of the season as well. You knew it was serious on Sunday when he went down, and all the teammates came over and were patting him. And right away, the Patriots announced that he would not return to action. When the Patriots do that quickly, usually that's a telltale sign. And sure enough, after further medical exams this week, it was confirmed James White is expected to miss the remainder of the 2021 season.
Oh, man. Adam, as you're reporting that news, just a collective groan from everyone here on the desk. I'll let you go first, Marcus. How does this affect the way that you look at this Patriots team?
Well, I mean, Key just came off talking about the dink and dunk game with Mac Jones and the outlet. And James White was that for Tom Brady as well. So you lose that part of your offense. If you think back all the way to the New England Patriots, this is what Kevin Falk was in that offense, that they had a lot of success. The guy you could dump the ball off to, get 8 or 9, and at times break it for long runs. Anytime you're taking away comfortability from a rookie quarterback, you have your concerns, along with the fact that you're trying to find weapons as this season goes along.
It's crazy because Sony Michel just left a couple weeks ago.
Point.
And that's gone now. But somebody just, I couldn't think of.
Mack.
That's who it is, right? Somebody's available.
Correct, from Indy, Marlon Mack.
That's what it is.
That's what my mind just went to, because James White was really a receiver that just played tailback for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so they got to get a guy that really is that pass-catching threat out of the backfield. Marlon Mack from Indianapolis could be a guy.
Yeah, keep your eye on him. How about Teddy Bridgewater, guys? He's on fire for the Broncos, who have the easiest strength of schedule, by the way, played thus far. They're favored in most of their upcoming matchups. So much has had to do, though, with Bridgewater's composure and what you've seen out of him on the field. It's one thing to play well, right, when things are going smoothly, but what do you do when under duress? Well, this is where Teddy Bridgewater's actually been at his best. He's been pressured at the highest rate in the NFL this season, but leads the league in completion percentage under pressure and third in QBR. Third in the NFL in QBR right now is Teddy Bridgewater. Key, those numbers are eye-popping. Are you surprised with Bridgewater's early success?
No, I'm really not. I go all the way back to Minnesota, and I look at him when he was a Pro Bowler in Minnesota prior to his ACL. And I can go even further back to Louisville when he dominated college football. What I would say, because we got to make up time here, you go back and you look at the 5 games in New Orleans when he balled out, and you look at the 5 games when Drew Brees came back afterwards, the numbers are glaring similar. 70% completion percentage for Teddy Bridgewater, 74% completion percentage for Drew Brees. Drew Brees' longest completion was 30 yards traveling in the air when Teddy Bridgewater was 39. The run game, they ran the ball the same yardage, same attempt, same everything identical. But there's a narrative as Teddy Bridgewater is just a bounce around quarterback who can't get it done and all this sort of stuff. It's all about system and coaches. And we see in Denver now, same thing we saw in Minnesota earlier.
I'll push back on that. I think he's become a playmaker at quarterback. I definitely think he has upped his game. His most touchdown passes in a season has been 14. So he's always been a guy that managed games, ball distributor, but never physically talented. And I think he's definitely grown in that regard. I love the Broncos. I love them. I think they lost their Tyreek Hill, though. I think they lost their Henry Ruggs with KJ Hamler. This offense is really built around the skill position, guys. That's why we love this team in the offseason, quarterback-wise. and they had so much diversity with the offense. They lost their juice downfield now. Jerry Jeudy's been out as well. So when does Jerry Jeudy get back? Because he's the route runner, the intermediate guy, the kind of ball possession receiver for them. And then now KJ Hamler being out with the speed, that has me paused on the Broncos.
Jerry Jeudy's out, as you see on the screen, for at least 2 more games, Marcus.
Vic Fangio got exactly what he thought he was getting with Teddy Bridgewater. A guy that's going to take care of the football, get us into the fourth quarter, and I'm going to lean on my defense. And hopefully you make plays down the stretch. I do have the same concern with you, Dio, with the weapons being gone. But the one thing you do know about Teddy, he's not going to give it away most of the time.
Yeah, he values
right.
the ball.
So the way this team is currently constructed, we talked about Aaron Rodgers going over the top. Teddy Bridgewater is not going to give games away for the Denver Broncos.
I don't give a damn who they play. You are who your records say you are.
Oh, there
That's
you
all
go.
I know.
All right,
I don't give a damn who they play.
To Marcus's point, Adam, that you just heard there, there were some rumors about Aaron Rodgers maybe going to Denver, but what more can you tell us about how Denver is feeling about the quarterback that they actually have?
Listen, the Broncos' quarterback position in recent years has been inefficient and unproductive, and they brought in somebody who is respected not only on the field but off the field, and he's provided a stabilizing force for this team that's been evident in the way it's played, winning the first 3 games of the season. Vic Fangio hadn't won a game in September, and now they're 3-0 and one of the remaining unbeaten teams, and a lot of that is because Teddy Bridgewater hasn't turned over the football, been smart, hasn't put the Broncos defense in bad field position situations that they were in other years. He's helped all the way around. And Denver is so used to seeing inefficient, unproductive quarterback play since Peyton Manning retired. They've been through a bevy of quarterbacks, the Broncos have. But Teddy Bridgewater has stabilized the position and brought an element of leadership to this team that it's lacked in recent years.
Yeah, Adam, to your point, I was saying that the Broncos are favored in their next 3 games. They are. Week 7 against the Browns is their next game as an underdog, according to FPI. We got more coming your way on NFL Live. The long-awaited reunion of Brady and Belichick this Sunday. Jeff Darlington sat down with the legend and is live to give us all the details on what he learned about Brady and his former coach. Don't miss this. It's next on NFL Live.
Over the top. Teddy Bridgewater is not going to give games away for the Denver Broncos.
I don't give a damn who they play. You are who your records say you are.
Oh, there
That's
you
all
go.
I know.
All right,
I don't give a damn who they play.
To Marcus's point, Adam, that you just heard there, there were some rumors about Aaron Rodgers maybe going to Denver, but what more can you tell us about how Denver is feeling about the quarterback that they actually have?
Listen, the Broncos' quarterback position in recent years has been inefficient and unproductive, and they brought in somebody who is respected not only on the field but off the field, and he's provided a stabilizing force for this team that's been evident in the way it's played, winning the first 3 games of the season. Vic Fangio hadn't won a game in September, and now they're 3-0 and one of the remaining unbeaten teams, and a lot of that is because Teddy Bridgewater hasn't turned over the football, been smart, hasn't put the Broncos defense in bad field position situations that they were in other years. He's helped all the way around. And Denver is so used to seeing inefficient, unproductive quarterback play since Peyton Manning retired. They've been through a bevy of quarterbacks, the Broncos have. But Teddy Bridgewater has stabilized the position and brought an element of leadership to this team that it's lacked in recent years.
Yeah, Adam, to your point, I was saying that the Broncos are favored in their next 3 games. They are. Week 7 against the Browns is their next game as an underdog, according to FPI. We got more coming your way on NFL Live. The long-awaited reunion of Brady and Belichick this Sunday. Jeff Darlington sat down with the legend and is live to give us all the details on what he learned about Brady and his former coach. Don't miss this. It's next on NFL Live. Massachusetts, Tom Brady heads back to face Bill Belichick and the Patriots for the first time. And Brady recently sat down with Jeff Darlington. They talked about what he thinks that night will be like. Listen to this.
What will that be like, Tom? What will it be like?
I know exactly how it's going to be like. I won't share it with anyone because I feel like I want to keep that to myself until, what I know what that experience will be. But I have a really good idea of what that'll be like because I want to help it prepare for ultimately, my performance. And I'm going to use what I've learned over the years to, hopefully go out there and play a great game. But
that's interesting. So you're saying what you've internalized what it'll feel like.
Oh yeah, I know exactly. I can envision everything. Sunday Night Football. I know what that's like.
You can catch Jeff's full interview with Tom Brady this Sunday on NFL Countdown. Randy Moss, Teddy Bruschi, and the rest of the crew is live from Gillette Stadium. It all kicks off Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Let's get Jeff Darlington in here from Tampa. Jeff, you got to spend some time with Brady there. What else did you learn?
Right. Well, Laura, it's funny, when you ask someone something and they say, I'm not going to tell you that, and then they proceed to tell you all of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what he did right then when he was talking about the expectations. He goes on to sort of describe exactly what he anticipates from the night. And my takeaway walking away from him was Tom Brady never says anything without thinking exactly about the words that he's going to choose. And I felt like when he was saying to me, I know what the wind is going to be like. I know what they're going to say. I know how they're going to prepare. I couldn't, and I'm making this leap myself right now as the reporter, I couldn't help but think that he was just sort of maybe putting a little seed in everybody's heads, maybe even in New England, to say, I'm coming for you. I'm not saying he's talking trash, but there is just something so nuanced and so, I don't know, so great about the way he said it. And that was my biggest takeaway from that interview.
Yeah, it's like very subtle, niche trash talking. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, you can catch the rest of that interview on Sunday. Don't miss it. Thanks, Jeff. Let's get to a little bit of trench talk here. Speaking of trash talk on NFL Live, Marcus and Dan, take us to the best O-line, D-line matchups of the week.
I feel like we've been hitting on these big matchups.
We have. They've been showing up.
There's some big ones. There's some big ones. We're going to start with that matchup. And it's going to be a little bit different than Tom and necessarily the Patriots. We're going to start with Vita Vea versus Michael Onwenu from the New England Patriots, okay? So Vita, listen, the Patriots offensive line has not been playing well. And big fella pushes the pocket. They are going to have to protect Mac Jones to have any kind of chance this weekend.
It's crazy how we made the comparisons of Mac Jones to Tom Brady early in his career. The same damn thing gives Mac Jones problems. Pressure in the center of the pocket.
I like
the
that
athleticism to bounce out. He doesn't have it. Vita Vea is that guy.
All right, so I got to give some shout-out love to the Detroit Lions because that offensive line is playing well. Penei Sewell at left tackle, but they got Khalil Mack this week. And Khalil Mack, one of the reasons why the Bears game was somewhat so frustrating was because the defensive line for Chicago was playing so good.
He finally broke that label off the top of that bottle and got home. He just gets so much attention, and people don't really gather the information of how much he's affecting games when he's not getting sacks.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack obviously won sacks, but he's been affecting all the games that the Chicago Bears have played in.
Shout out to Penei Sewell, man. He is playing good football, left tackle. Okay, so we got Nick Bosa versus Dwayne Brown. Shout out to Mina Kimes. Dwayne Brown, one of the best tackles still in football.